fellow travelers, and welcome to the Traversing the Stars podcast. How are my loyal listeners? Thank you for your continued support. And remember to click the subscribe button, everybody. An amazing show for you because Born the Mothership is Dan Price. He's the co-creator and artist of Bigfoot Knows Karate, which is the indie sensation of 2022. Now come join me as we go traversing the stars. Hello, Dan. Thank you so much for coming to the Traversing the Stars podcast.
Hey, Jeff, thanks so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Totally my pleasure. I hear a lot about Bigfoot Knows Karate, so it's great to have you on the show.
I am glad people are hearing about Bigfoot Knows Karate. It's been a lot of fun this last year and a half or so working on the comic, and first campaign went pretty well, and here we are again, doing it all over with Chapter 2, Born Under a Bad Sign.
Awesome. So I always start off with the question of inspiration. So what inspired your love for comics and who are your earliest influences?
Love for comics came up when I was about 8 years old. By my friend Carlos, he took me to the store and we got comic books, X-Men 207 with Wolverine ripping through the cover. That was rad. And did that, and I loved comics completely. But when it really became something that I was passionate to do was like in 1992 when Image formed, when you can do creator-owned comics. Sure, I like the art, and the stories were weak or whatever you want to say about early Image comics, sure. But the cool thing was they all owned their characters. And so that was huge for me. So, look, I love Jack Kirby because ever since I was a little kid, just because that was some of my early exposure was early 60s stuff through Marvel Saga and that sort of thing. I'm a huge fan of that. The 90s guys from Image, all of their entrepreneurial spirit alone was just a huge issue for me, but a huge thing for me. But I was obviously very influenced by those guys when I was, artistically. And then as I've gotten older, I really have come to appreciate Frank Miller. I'm a huge Frank Miller fan. He's probably my top favorite, artist, writer, total package. He's the man, a lot of respect for Mignola as well. Love John Romita Jr.'s stuff, especially his modern stuff. His early stuff was great, but it was very much in line with early Marvel, or that time period of Marvel. But his stuff these days is just, for the last 20 years, it's just been so amazing. And so I really get into those artists as well. Yeah, I love doing this. I love making comics, and I love exploring artistically what we can do with Bigfoot Knows Karate.
Now, the team of Bigfoot Knows Karate, there's you, Dan Price, and then there's Casey Allen.
Absolutely.
So how did this genius partnership come about?
Okay, so Casey and I met at the Comic Jam, which is a comic book workshop for creators. They come up with a theme, for the week, and then the writers write a one-page story based on that theme, no more than 6 panels. The artists get the scripts at random and have a month to draw the one-page comic. Everybody can finish a page in a month. That's got to be, that's like slow. So that works out well because everybody gets to participate. And what was amazing was so Casey leads the jam, and we just kind of hit it off, and we got to work on a project together, and it was great. I loved his writing style. I loved his demeanor. We just instantly became friends. We've known each other about 4 years. And then he saw me tooling around with Bigfoot Knows Karate. I was drawing it on Instagram, starting in like 2017, 2018. I was just dropping these little Bigfoot nuggets, of him doing, poses and things like that. And Casey, would say to me every once in a while, what are you doing with this? You need to do something with this. And so he was one of him, Drew Edwards, Christopher Specht. They all were poking and prodding me to do something with this character, but I didn't want to do anything that was just trite. I didn't want the Karate Kid story, the revenge, the standard, revenge story. I didn't want to do that. I love the concept of a revenge story, but how do you do a revenge story with a character like Bigfoot who has no family, nobody knows him, nobody loves him, nobody knows he exists? How do you, when you have nothing, there's nothing to get revenge on? Okay, so that was not a possibility. So once I came up with like a plot line for what the arc was going to be, Casey had agreed to edit the book. And so I gave him, here's this Bible of, Bigfoot Knows Karate. And he was so helpful as an editor, but, was contributing to the book a little bit more than, originally intended, than he intended to do. And I said, just write this with me. I mean, I come from a world of, my original comics were like Latex Avenger. He has a psychic spermicidal foam lad, and together they repel crime 99.9% of the time. And Masters of the Obvious, all these humor comedy comics, and that was my background. And Casey, I wanted to do this as a big, epic motion picture, just wide, in its storytelling. And Casey really helped out, getting the pacing right, and the fight scene is like it's between Bigfoot and Kung Fu Thulu. That's Casey, man. I mean, he brought a lot of really great elements to the book. I had these ideas for what I wanted to do with these flashback thoughts, and we ended up turning it into this thing called the Unreal in the comic, where Bigfoot is able to, you can't see Bigfoot. If nobody's seen Bigfoot, you probably can't see Bigfoot. And he has this ability in the comic to phase in and out of visibility, but it's not just that he's going invisible. He's leaving the plane of existence that he's actually, to another plane of existence. And so, we brought all that into effect, and it was just a really great collaboration. I love Casey. I mean, he's, over the last few years, we've just become, oops, hold on. Over the last few years, we've just become amazing friends, and we talk 4 days a week probably, and we work hard on this comic, and couldn't do this without him.
So when you guys are working and putting comic together, is it sort of like a Marvel script, plot script, or is he giving you a full comic book script?
So we write, this issue, he's really taken the bull by the horns on this, and he's really done the bulk of the writing. I work the plot with him, but he's doing, the panel for panel and all of that. And so he writes out a full script, but then then I go back and I edit, certain things and change content, trim words, things like that. And I'll do a rough go of it in the script, and then I'll do during the lettering process when I letter the book. Then I really get more involved. His words stay in. His words get the meaning of his words get stay in. The whole thing or the meaning. Or sometimes I'll just and he puts up with me for doing that. He's great. He really is. But it's a good collaboration. God bless Google Docs. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I had the pleasure of reading the first issue. I really love the portrayal of Bigfoot. Because he's not your typical monster. He's deep, he's introspective. There's a lot more going on to him than just standard, monster of the week kind of here's your guy. Mm-hmm. So how have you both layered his character and given him the added complexity?
I often just think about his psyche. I really am kind of in the original Bigfoot ideas that I had in like 2018, 2019, the book was actually going to start with him committing suicide.
Oh, wow.
He was going to jump off a cliff, and because of his loneliness, because of the isolation, because of all of this stuff. Originally it was a comedy that took place in a mall in like Plano, Texas. But and anyway, then I went through this whole thing when the art style became what it was, and where it's like, all kind of liney and brushy and grungy. The story changed with it, and he was actually committing suicide, but he was waking up in this Shaolin temple situation. You know what I mean? Mm. Didn't like that. Got rid of that. But the mood, the vibe, the whole thing about him had to remain there, because if you were alone and nobody knew you and nobody believed in you, and what would that do to you? You know what I mean? And karate. So that means you also have this knowledge base, this discipline. But you're a monster, so you can go berserker at any time too. That's a pretty interesting mix, I think so. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that was kind of the basis of the whole thing in terms of who he is. And as we're going through the story, we're peeling back that onion, and revealing more. I mean, I think kind of the pitch for the book is, it's Godzilla versus Kong meets Kill Bill with a splash of Lost, and we're adding questions as we're giving answers. But the first book was totally a setup. We sold it like it was just going to be a big old punch 'em up book, and then when you get to the fourth act, you're like, holy shit, what just happened? And so with that, we pick right back up where we left off in issue 2. And now you've gone from this character who has no one, is totally isolated, now is surrounded but only by enemies. What's better? Being alone or being, or having interaction with people who hate you?
So when are the readers gonna get a backstory on how he came to the karate ability and everything else that he has?
So that's going to come. So we're doing the 5-issue arc right now. There is going to be books that take place between books 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and 4 and 5 that are going to give shades of the past. I don't know if we're going to really delve into how he learned his martial arts in those stories, but we've got so many stories lined up. Here's the thing. This is what ticked me off. Okay. Marvel had this amazing character. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name was Wolverine. Okay. Wolverine was a 5'3" cigar smoking berserker who could flip out at any time. Okay. He could be eating cereal in the X mansion. Okay. And somebody could walk into the kitchen, just freak out on him, and then go back, and fuck him up, and then go back to eating his cereal. That was the kind of character that Wolverine was. Okay. And then they did this thing called Origin, where they actually told the origin of Wolverine. That's like telling the origin of the Joker. Oh, wait, they did that too. There are certain things in comics you don't mess with. And when you have a mystique like Wolverine, when you have a mystique like the Joker, don't mess with a good thing. With that being said, there's going to be aspects of this character it's going to take a long time to learn, and it's not going to be, we're just going to, I just want there to be something surrounding him that always has that question about him that that we're not going to just give it away. You know what I'm saying?
So no baby Bigfoot like Baby Grogu, huh?
No, there will be nothing like that. There will be nothing. And the other thing is, like, this is a book that has no pop culture references, that will never, well, say never. I mean, the intention now is to never do a crossover with another comic. Just keep it in its world, keep the story in a way that 30 years from now, I hope that people will be able to pick this back up and read it like we read, like I can read Sin City, and it's never dated. It always just works. And I hope for that kind of comic with with what we're creating here with Bigfoot Knows Karate.
Well, like I said, the first issue is awesome. You have not just karate fighting Bigfoot, but you have, as you said, Kung Fu Thulu. So how crazy is the series going to get?
Oh, and let me just give props to Casey on Kung Fu Thulu, by the way. Okay, let me just say that, and then we'll jump into the rest of the question. Sorry, but Casey came up with the name Kung Fu Thulu. We were on the phone talking. I mean, I remember sitting on the edge of my porch with my feet in the yard, and he said, "You need a big bad." He goes, "You need something that's just absolutely crazy." And then he goes, "Kung Fu Thulu," and I'm like, "I gotta go." Hung up the phone. And the next day, I sent him sketches of what the character would look like. So props to Casey. It was a great co-creation. His name, my art, but like I really just give the props to Casey. To your question, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
So how crazy the series is going to get?
Oh shit! Well, I think the premise is already off the rails. I mean, it's different. It's different in a way from other comics that it's pretty off the rails. The first issue was not what you were expecting. By and large, that's the response we got, and they were happy with the people, the reviews and everything that we heard from readers. They loved it, in terms of, it was not, I was expecting a fight. We got the fight, we got so much more. And now I can't wait to find out what happens next. Casey and I had a conversation. He goes, "You think we're going off the rails with this one?" I said, "Casey, we've been off the rails. I think the only way we can go is just go further off, and so yeah, it's going to get crazier. We've got characters that in the first issue was a very small cast, and this issue, we meet a lot of characters. Whether it's the characters that he met and had an encounter with at the end of issue one, or other cryptids and kaiju. I mean, I will say there's a kaiju in the book called Thermonucleodon, okay, that has missiles growing out of his back, and there's a chupacabra with a shotgun, and that is got his own struggles that he's dealing with. And then just so many more. If you look at the Zip Allegria cover, you can see there's a female character in the book this issue too. And I won't go into the details of that, but it is, we've introduced a lot of characters in this book, and I can't wait for you guys to get your hands on them and get to read that.
So as you're thinking about the line of crazy that's potentially before you, was there a certain line that you guys were like, no, this is too crazy? And how far afield is that line?
So there's a character in the issue that I wanted to, Casey wanted to have the character have like a missing an appendage with like a weapon on there. Okay. We didn't want to do like chainsaws because of like Ash or Chainsaw Man, and we didn't want to do like just a knife or an axe or something like that. I wanted him to be covered in man-eating Venus flytraps, like that's a symbiotic relationship where it's just grown onto him. Casey thought I was nuts. Okay, so we compromised. He has hands, and but yeah, I mean, there seems like once an issue we have like a thing that we just kind of because we're going a little too crazy. Like he had an affectation for Kung Fu Thulu in the first issue where he would breathe all crazy and it would go and then, between trying to catch his breath because it's a sea creature and land, so he's all and I didn't know what he was making, so I just gave Casey a hard time for that until he took it out. And then with this one, we on the we don't butt heads often, but I could tell like he was not into what I was throwing down on the man eating Venus flytraps. Maybe I'll get that gimmick on another character later on. But yeah, there's just been a couple things where we're like, but not really. I mean, I think we're both pretty free in our ideas for this book. We're both pretty fluid, and we're not married to certain ideas. You know what I mean? And so there could be the opportunity for I don't know, to do some pretty crazy stuff and not feel too crazy about it.
So there is a line of crazy that you guys were like, can't go quite that far with it, or are we building up the crazies for us to get accustomed to it so we're now ready for the next level?
Yeah, I mean, if you jump too fast, it's like Fonzie jumping the shark. You know what I mean? You got to build up to that crap. So by the time it's all, yeah, exactly, right. It's like just need a little heroin at first, but the by the time we get to the fifth issue, and yeah, y'all are gonna be either you're gonna be totally indoctrinated into what we're doing, or you're gonna be like, oh my god, these guys are idiots, But I'm willing to roll the dice here and see what happens. So,
well, great thing about the book is that the art is amazing. You're the artist, and it's fantastic. So, how is the quality of art allowing the story to be told as much visually as it is through the prose?
So, I mean, I think the goal for any comic book artist is to be able to tell, and the writer too, is to be able to tell the story without word bubbles. If you can tell that story without balloons and still get the intonations and the vibe of what's happening, that's the goal. And so that's what I'm trying to strive for. And I think in the first issue, I got that comment a lot, that, you could have removed the word bubbles and knew exactly what was happening. And I thought that was a real great compliment. This issue, there's a lot more exposition in this issue because we took you guys to the limit on the first one. Now we got to explain some of that. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit more talking heads in certain situations. But I mean, for me, the artwork's got to match the vibe. Okay, and so I'm not married to like, okay, the sky's got to be blue in every single scene. No, the sky changes colors based on what the emotion is in the comic. And, I mean, you can rag on me for that or whatever. That's fine. I don't care. There's a method to my madness. And, not everybody's going to probably grab hold of that, but that's okay. The artwork in this book, for Bigfoot is unlike anything else I've done in comics. It's brushy, it's grungy, it's kinetic, it's dynamic. I wanted this feeling of constant motion in the book because, well, to be honest with you, when I draw really tight stuff, it just feels really stiff. So I developed this style for Bigfoot, and I thought that it's working. So if I think so anyway, it's a little different than what else is out there. It does not, it fit into it definitely does not fit into the realism, movement that's been going on in comics lately, which is great. If you can draw realism, have at it, dude. I'm props to you. I better than me. But I mean, yeah. So, trying to make the artwork just kind of fit with the vibe. All the panel layouts. I mean, just the panel, borders. It's not like it's just hard white boxes and things like that. I mean, I use brushes to make those and make them really feel organic. And I think that's the key word in all this is that make the book feel organic.
So, well, having read the first, like I said, having read the first one, there's a huge twist towards the end of issue 1. Mm-hmm. So, how does that twist, without giving away too many spoilers, set the stage for what issue 2 is going to look like?
That twist sets the stage for the next 4 issues and beyond, because now we're going to meet the people that came into the book at the end. We're gonna get to understand who they are, and in time through the book, we're gonna through the issues, we're gonna learn what the objective and the agenda is. And so Bigfoot at the end of the first issue was not in the best of sorts at that time. He was a little beat up. And so we're gonna just kind of, like I said, we're gonna take it from there, and we're just gonna pick up and just roll right into the story. And I mean, we've jammed a lot into this script. I think it's like 33, 34 pages for the comic, so a little longer than the last issue by a few pages. But that's what you got to do. We want to make sure. I mean, you got to know when to break a story, an issue, and lead into the next one. So it's indie comics, man. If we can do it, we can go extra if we want to, and not feel too bad about it. It's not like we have to stay to a standard 24, 28 page format. So
that's the pleasure of being your own company, right? You can make it as long as
you wish.
Oh,
yes. Oh, God. I love indie. I love the freedom. I love yes, I have an editor in Casey, and, we work with each other and are able to come up with something pretty cool without having parameters put on us. I've worked for a publisher, we're the publisher before, and I've done had where I had editors who were like over me, talking from legality standpoints and things like that. Well, I did a project for the Stan Lee Foundation years ago, and it was called Excelsior, The Uphill Adventures of a Boy Named Stanley. It was the only Y7 project I ever did, but it was pretty cool because Stan Lee tweeted our comic every week.
Oh, that's cool.
So I mean, yeah. So I mean, how many other people get to say that Stan Lee tweeted about what they were working on? That's pretty cool. So, but in that situation, because he wasn't officially in business with Marvel at that time, the foundation was not able to use Marvel characters and entities and things like that. And we're trying to tell a story about Stan Lee as a little kid in his neighborhood dealing with the neighborhood bullies. And so we had to mask things and change stuff. And the big bad in the comic, his name was Galakowitz, who was our Galactus. And Galakowitz had a sidekick named Harold, who wore a silver t-shirt and a skateboard and carried a skateboard around. And so, for our Silver Surfer and things like that. There was an editor, there were lawyers. I mean, my scripts would come back. You can't do this, you can't do that. Okay, cool. And that was the reason I took the project, because I never have ever been edited that hard. And I wanted to know what that experience was going to be like. I had the experience, back to self-publishing,
So for those who don't know, obviously Bigfoot Knows Karate #1 was a huge success on Kickstarter. You did phenomenally well. So when is Bigfoot Knows Karate 2 hitting Kickstarter?
October 12th, 7 p.m. Yeah, October 12th, 7 p.m. Central. Myself and a gentleman named myself and Casey and a gentleman named Christopher Michael from Homebrewed Comics. He has a book called Crit. I think he's going on to issue 6. We are doing a live launch on Instagram to launch his book and my book at the exact same time. And so 7 p.m. we're going to be pressing the buttons on the notification. We'll start at 6:30 Central, and then we'll hang out for a little while and get everybody, hey, let's do it. And because I mean, having time to just talk with people and just be grateful, because
Mm,
none of this would be possible for Bigfoot Knows Karate if it had not been for the Instagram following. Everybody on Instagram has been so kind and so supportive of the book. That was I mean, I firmly believe that was the reason we did as well as we did in the first
mm,
campaign, was just Instagram. And so we'll do the Instagram live that night, and we'll get the campaign going, and we'll have we'll do like about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours of just hanging out and bringing different guests in. So if talking about their projects, talking about our projects, and just having a good time. So October 12th, 7 p.m. Central, we'll hit the button live. Go to the notification page on Kickstarter, the pre-launch page, guys, and go click that button. We've got 97 people right now who are ready and notified to pick up this book. Come join us. We're going to have a great time on this issue, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
So for the listeners, on the YouTube and on the website on this episode, there'll be a link to the notification page for Bigfoot Knows Karate. So find it, click it, make sure you follow it. Okay, guys?
And then also, maybe just say this, and then also check out BigfootKnowsKarate.com. There's the link to the Kickstarter there, social media links, the store. You can go through and look at the fan art gallery. We've got preview pages of issue 1. I probably should change those out to issue 2 now. But we've got some preview pages. And if you have not read Bigfoot Knows Karate in the original Kickstarter, or picked it up at a show or online store, you can go to globalcomics.com. That's GLOBAL COMIX comics.com. And you can read Bigfoot Knows Karate issue 1 for free. So get caught up. I'm going to actually take it off of Global here and turn it to paid here very soon. So get on it, read it while it's free, and then go back that comic on October 12th, book 2.
That sounds awesome. So as we mentioned, it did really well in Kickstarter. I assume issue 2 is going to be even bigger. So for the Kickstarter listeners out there trying to do their own thing, what is the key to creating a successful Kickstarter campaign?
Oh gosh. Marketing.
Marketing.
I mean, seriously, look, I'm going to look right in the camera to you guys right now. Look, we're all creatives, and we all love making the books and writing the books and drawing the books and all that other stuff. It's awesome, and you're great at it, and you should be proud of yourself. But why is it that we make these comics and then we don't push them on social media? We don't get the word out there, that sort of thing. There's podcasts, there's press that you can do. And the thing about it is that, guys, I mean, seriously, and ladies too, whoever's making comics, listen, I mean, my attitude, what's the point of making something as awesome as a comic book if nobody's going to get to read it? So get out there, get on your social, work on your social game early. Like, you never stop. Always, post 3 times a week, get people talking, do engagement posts to get people active and, into what you're doing. If you can do that, and you can find some buddies in the community, that's the big thing, man. Make friends too. Make friends. Like, the indie comics community is an amazing thing because everybody backs each other up, the cool ones anyway. And I mean, like, the Instagram community really embraced Bigfoot Knows Karate and me, and I'm thankful for that. Twitter, that's also out there too. I use Twitter, and Twitter's getting behind what we're working on. That's super cool. So yeah, I mean, look, you're not just selling your comic, guys, you're selling yourself. And so my advice to you is leave your bullshit at the door, work on your book, get your book out there. Don't stay focused, stay on message. I mean, like, it's cool that you like to do random tweets or whatever, a photo, of your food or whatever like that. But don't forget, while you're out there and you're trying to get your book out and get seen. So if you have any questions or you don't like what I said, send your hate tweets to danomite139. That's DANOMYTE139. I'd be more than happy to discuss this with you, or DM me on Instagram under the same handle. There you go.
That's awesome. So when issue 2 launches, what are the rewards that you're the most excited about getting out there?
Look, I believe in, doing a campaign pretty lean and mean. If it can't fit in a Gemini mailer, I'm probably not going to do it. But we are doing something that won't fit in a Gemini mailer. If people buy it, it is going to be, we're doing a 4-pack again, so we got the regular edition comics, and then we got the deluxe edition comics. And the regular edition's just the story, and the deluxe edition has a lot of extras and features and a director's commentary video. You click on the QR code, it takes you to a director's commentary where we talk about the book at length and really give our insights to what's going on. So answer any questions you have, that kind of thing. I've got amazing covers from Jevin Loop. Zip Alegria, and my buddy Adam Caswell is back again doing a cover for us. This was his cover last year for the comic, and that actually won the Master of the Comic Book Cover award from Comics Wellspring. So thank you, CWS. And so we are doing, go to CWS if you need printing done. They're incredible. So we've got the variants, we got the deluxe edition. We'll do the 4-pack again. That was a big treat. If you are a comic creator and you were looking to get some exposure for your book, come on down. I got advertisements that will be advertising space that will be available. Good guy I know gave me that advice about a year ago, and said that that was something worth doing, and it was. We sold out of those ads in like an hour or something like that. So we did 2 last time. We're going to do 4 this time. So back the book and get the ad space, and we'll get you some eyeballs on your campaign or whatever it is you're trying to do. I'll do commissions again this time. Last time I did 5 commission slots. And I work digitally, guys. So what we'll do, instead of it just sending you a print, because that's cool, but whatever. I'm gonna have the prints done on canvas, and we'll have those shipped directly to your home. And every print is every commission is going to be its own thing. It's not going to be reproduced somewhere else. It's for you. So it's always going to be something unique. So I'm not just a recolor or something like that. I want to give you something special. So those are some of the things we're doing. And and this time around, we're going to do retailer packs as well. So we'll do like 5 or 10 pack retailer packs as well. But hey, look, dude, you don't have to spend your money on all that stuff. Get the digital copy for like $3-4, whatever it's going for. Or pick up issue 1. It's gonna or not issue 1, the regular edition, and just pick up the book. It's gonna be a fun comic for sure.
That sounds awesome. So when does the campaign run through?
October 12th to the end of November 11th, 30 days. So 30 days, and keep it simple, keep it easy. Any longer than 30 days, man, that's just too long, man. I'm ready to take a nap after 25. So but it's look, Kickstarters are amazing. Kickstarters are a lot of stress. Yes. And they're a lot of fun, but they're a lot of stress. And there's nothing quite like every 12 minutes looking at your Kickstarter to see how it's doing. Because,
you wait that long?
I think in the last campaign there was a period there I was like, I can't look at it. And then immediately furiously looking at my phone. It's terrible. Like even with the notifications, I find myself looking probably 3 times a day to see what's going on with the notifications. So.
Well, I'm gonna say you're doing better than me. When I had my first Kickstarter, this is before I did any publicist work, like my very first Kickstarter, that I really did. And I'm a teacher, right? And I had my phone out during class. I'm just like, as I'm talking, I'm like, reset, refresh. I'm like, this is probably not healthy.
Yeah, right. No doubt. Yeah, you're sitting there teaching a lesson going, come on, damn it. Just like hitting on your phone.
Like, stop asking me questions. I got to check my YouTube. I mean, not my YouTube, my Kickstarter.
Kickstarter,
those things are, Kickstarters can be amazingly unhealthy at times if you let them get to you too much.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. And Kickstarters, yeah, that, and it's like, it's always something, right? You got the Kickstarter, you got the book to make, you got to fulfill the things, you got cons to go to. By the way, if you're in Baltimore for during October 28th through 30th, I will be at Baltimore Comic Con, so come check that out. Chill. Anyway, I'm like, there's always something going on. And I think that I love making comics, and I think everybody else who makes comics loves making comics. But you got to wear a couple of hats. You got to be your marketer, you got to be your business manager. And thank you to my wife who handles the books and things like that. She's incredible. And but yeah, you got to be able to juggle. You
Mm.
got to be able to juggle.
That's probably the true secret of being indie publisher. It's not the as much even making the comic book. It's the fulfillment, as you said, the marketing. There's so much involved. It's basically you have yourself your own another job, a full-time job
Oh yeah.
where you're the manager and the sucker on the floor has to do all the legwork.
Oh, absolutely. You are the product too. I mean, you
Yeah.
create it, you have to sell it, you gotta, put your best foot forward and do podcast interviews and you know what I'm saying? I mean, just like, and not that I don't enjoy doing podcast interviews, they're fun, but I mean, I can talk about Bigfoot all day long, as much as I'm willing to talk about it, because I don't ever want to give anything up to anybody. But the yeah, I mean, it's never ending, man.
Mm.
I just got done with campaign for with Drew Edwards. We did a Halloween Man Meets Latex Avenger crossover. We finished that, and then I'm like, okay, I got to roll right into this one now. And so, yeah, after this campaign, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna just work on the book, and I'm gonna just be quiet on social for a while, and just send my little updates every over Kickstarter. But I'm gonna be like, I say this, it's gonna be bullshit. I'm gonna be all like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" So and just tweeting like an idiot. Yeah.
Well, Dan, it's totally been a pleasure to have you on,
Oh, yeah.
and I wish you tons of luck with your Kickstarter. I'm sure it's going to be awesome.
Jeff, thanks so much for having me, man, and thank you for having me on Traversing the Stars. I wish you guys the best of luck with the show, and it's cool watching y'all's growth on YouTube and
Thank you.
getting the awards you're getting and doing what you're doing, and those milestones are awesome, dude. Congrats.
Greatly appreciate it, sir. So have a great
Absolutely.
night, and as Bigfoot launches.
You got it, man. Thank you. You too.